Whenever I look at the range of what's responsible for putting carbon into the atmosphere, I'm always struck by how little of it is individual consumption directly, and how much of it is about industry and infrastructure and the rest. How much do you think it really matters for the average person to be thinking carbon footprint, as opposed to be thinking about we just need our government and our companies to be looking very, very different?
Well, I think that, that's a big sort of debate right now in environmental circles. I guess my answer would be, both are true. If we're going to make big changes in our emissions, it is going to require, I think, changes in the way we live. We all have to take our share of that infrastructure, as it were. If you were doing, carbon accounting, yes, there are some companies and corporations that are huge emitters, but we all then go and, burn the gasoline or whatever that, that ExxonMobil is refining. So we all have to be moving in the same direction here. But certainly, if you ask me, what is your number one priority? What would you do to try to move this battleship in a new direction? It requires public policy levers, and it requires, unfortunately, probably, I don't see any way around it, though I would be willing to be convinced otherwise, some pretty serious legislation. And that brings us back to the question of the Biden administration and a very evenly divided Senate. Are we going to be able to see any legislative action, meaningful legislative action on climate change?
Yeah. Obviously, it's challenging in a 50-50 situation where, West Virginia is the most powerful senator on the Democratic side. I get you. Tell me, of all the things that you think about your own life personally, since you say we all have to do more, what's the thing that you're doing right now that you really should stop to feel more personally responsible in terms of our future on this planet?
Well, I mean, if I look at my own sort of, my own carbon footprint as a journalist, I travel a lot, I fly a lot, and if everyone did that, the world would be in even worse shape than it is now. So I think that is something that I think about a lot. Every trip I take to report, most of them are for reporting, but that is probably one area of my life where it's very difficult to reduce the emissions from those flights. It's impossible for me to do that. I would have to not take them.